What's up, my people? It's your favorite light and boogie in this thing. Welcome to another amazing episode of, you guessed it, the Can't Be Broken podcast, where we are shining light on the darkness that is domestic violence and abuse. If you've never been here before, welcome, welcome, welcome to season 2. Pew, 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 pew. Confetti, 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 confetti. We got 3 simple rules: educate, empower, and encourage. Not Ruth. We got 3 simple goals: educate, empower, and encourage. We are here to educate anyone who has never been in abusive relationships, don't understand how they start, how you get caught up, why you stay, just leave. We gonna find out. We are here to empower all of our survivors to stand up and share your story without shame, fear, guilt, or judgment. Because guess what? You are strong, you are powerful, and your voice deserves to be heard. And to anyone who is currently suffering in silence, listen, you are not alone. You are not crazy. Abuse is not normal. Your feelings are valid. And despite how it may look and feel in this very moment, there is always a way out. And we encourage you to safely seek support. So come on with me, because we about to hop up in this thing so we can rise above these insecurities, release the burdens of shame and guilt, and revive our God-given power, purpose, and passion the confidence way. 'Cause we about to light it up. All right, y'all. Hey, I don't know how this is going to go, but I do know, as always, I am super excited to share this space, to have this opportunity to create this, to have a platform to deliver these messages from all walks of life. Everyone's experience is unique and the same at the same time. It's so funny. It's so weird. But I just want to say I'm super excited about this new guest we have on the show today. The world knows them as Max in the building. Max. There's a lot happening on this side. How are y'all doing?
I'm good. I'm excited. I am ready to go.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
We've been waiting on this one.
Yeah, this is gonna be like cathartic and healing for me. Like I'm at a good point in my healing process that this is gonna be beneficial.
I love that. And this is not the first time that someone has shared that either. Usually it's after the call and they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how much more healing it was to have this conversation. But it's so important that we have these conversations. I had posted something yesterday and someone commented on it and said, I was basically saying, I feel free, being
Yes.
myself and not having to be controlled or abused or anything like that. And someone's like, well, why don't you just let it go? Why are you still talking about him? And I said, the purpose of this is for these conversations to be had, because so many times people are being abused and silence allows the abuse to continue. So we are here to heal and to heal loudly. And that's what we gonna do. Y'all understand? That's what we gonna do. Okay. I'm gonna act right. I'm gonna act right. Max, I'm gonna act right. My first question is, growing up in wherever and however you grew up, do you feel like now that you witnessed or experienced abuse in the household or in the neighborhood or anything like that, or was it something that came to you later in life
I experienced tons. Um, I
as a
was
child?
yes, yeah. Well, even just up till last week, I was in court with my mom while she was renewing
She was renewing what?
a restraining order against my dad.
Really?
Yeah, long crazy story.
Max, let's get in this. God, y'all, hey, keep y'all hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because I don't know what's about to happen. Dang, that's okay. So your
So
mom and your dad are definitely separated or divorced.
they're divorced, yeah, but it was a long process. My parents were together since like the time they were teenage kids, and they got divorced like 45 years into the marriage or so. And my dad's been gone for like 20 years, but he still won't give up like the obsession that he has.
What? Y'all,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna try not like, Max, you got me
yeah.
up here
The divorce,
already.
the divorce only happened 5 years ago. It was like, oh, what the fuck took so long?
This is how this is how last week's conversation ended, was trying to help people understand that even when you do leave,
Mhm.
because last week's guest, she was divorced, separated. She was separated. They were separated for 10 years. He had moved on, found somebody else, but he would not sign the papers because they still have to hold on to some. They tell you they don't want you. They don't want nothing to do with you. You all things bad, the horrible, worst thing that ever walked the earth. But I'm still not going to release you because I want to have control over some aspect of your life.
Exactly. He is so controlling. It's absurd. And like a lot of what I learned about relationships came from watching my parents. Um, Not to say like it was all bad or anything, but it definitely like formed and shaped like part of like how I interact.
As it
And
does for most of us.
yeah, I'm autistic. I got diagnosed like a couple years ago, but like I was different, and I was always an outsider. I was always a loner. Um, I experienced intense in school, like
Really?
stabbings, throwing me off balconies, like real
At
bad stuff.
school?
Yep.
Hold up. Wait. 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 You taking us too fast. Out. This is outright bananas.
I went to elementary Catholic school, and like there I was kind of just like ostracized. I didn't experience bullying until I switched over to public schools, and then it was just chaos. And it was like the whole entire grade was against me, and like they used to do something to me, and then they would all like get their story straight. And so when like I'd be talking to the assistant principal or whatever, they're like, "Well, we don't believe you because all of their stories match and yours doesn't." And and it was just it was really really bad. Like I don't know how I survived middle school because at the same time I was also being molested by it. So
Okay, Max.
it's intense. There's a lot. There's a lot that I'm gonna.
Max. The layers already. Okay, wait, we gotta pause. We gotta go back to your dad for a second. Good Lord. What are we doing? Okay. Okay. Your parents were married for 45 years.
Mhm.
Your mom filed for a divorce. Because I need people to really understand what you just said. 45 years, almost half a century. Your mom files for divorce, but he does not sign the papers, basically, another 20 years.
No, she filed for divorce like 5 years ago.
Okay, so
He,
they were
how,
separated.
yeah, he left the house 20 years ago, but he stuck her the whole time. And like there was one big huge incident that spurred getting the divorce, and getting the restraining order, where he was caught with like a disguise on, casing her out, following her. She was working at a credit union and she was doing a deposit at the bank down the street, and he was wearing a fake disguise, and some police saw him and thought he was suspicious, thought he was casing up the bank. And they asked him, like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm stalking my wife, which
What?
is a respectable offense, but they let him go. Yeah.
He flat out told them he was stalking your mom,
Yeah. Yeah. And
and they didn't even.
they checked him for weapons and they let him go. And it the um, involved two different police units. Plus, my mom was working at a VA hospital, so it involved the VA hospital police as well. So she had no clue what was going on. They came to her office. Yeah, her husband
Wait,
stuff, ma'am.
because we gonna back this up, but we gotta sit here for a second. He flat out told the police, I'm stalking my wife.
Hmm.
They didn't think it was serious enough to arrest him, but it was serious enough to let her know you're being stalked.
Yeah, yeah. They
Like,
checked him for to let him go.
are y'all hearing this? Like, I
Hmm.
don't think people hear what we be saying. I don't think they comprehend because people are always like, why don't y'all tell? Why don't you call the police? Why don't you just leave? So many police aren't trained to handle domestic violence encounters and situations as much as they are trained to handle somebody who's robbing a bank or stealing a car or any kind of thing like that. They're not trained, and they a lot of times they don't take it serious. And they're
Well,
like,
in
"Oh, y'all
addition,
just
yeah, in addition, we lived in a small town, and my dad was a firefighter in that town, so he knew all the police as well. So
yeah."
like it was a buddy buddy thing. Like we had to call the cops a few times and had to have them pink slipped. And like uh, the officers that came to the house, they're like, "So, are you coming over tomorrow night for dinner?" It's like, you're here to help me, not to make dinner plans with him, you know?
There's so much, and why we ain't even two. This is like 5 minutes, Max. What we doing here? Ah, because now we talking about how so many times the first responders are abusive. And when I'm
Hmm.
saying all responders, I need to look up the statistics on this. But the statistics, like most statistics, are going to be a way less, if any, because they get to cover stuff up a lot more than. Okay, okay, hold on. So you're
All
growing up.
they failed me, like big time.
Was your dad physically abusive to your mom, or was it more mental, psychological, emotional intimidation?
He was mentally, psychologically, verbally explosive towards me, but also very controlling.
Mm-hmm.
With my brother, he was physically abusive and mentally abusive, and the moment he turned 18, he left and he went to Key West, which is as far south as you can go. And
Wow.
he never came back. Well, he just was, but yeah, and like it's affected who he is too, because like he turned out to be an asshole. I turned out.
Dang.
Uh,
Okay, so growing up, you remember seeing your dad have anger issues,
mhm,
to say
mhm.
it mildly. When
Oh,
you say he was explosive and verbally abusive to your mom, how old are you, the youngest? Like how old are you at your youngest age? Do you remember this? And what are you seeing or witnessing?
I think like by the time I realized what he was doing, I was like 4 or 5 years old. Mm. That's about like the same time that like my abuse was starting with my other family.
Somebody who lives outside the house.
Yeah, but his mom was like a druggie and passed him around. Um, so he had like his mom and dad had shared custody, and when his dad had custody of him, he used to spend a lot of time at our house, 3 4 nights a week. And like my mom was like being a surrogate, and I'm glad that he and like I have empathy for him. I hold him accountable for what he did, but I have empathy for him because everything that I went through, he went through, but like like really bad, like satanic, and like so I know why he was the way he was, and I also saw like the scared little boy that he was. He was very scared of the dark. He had a lot of like sleep routines to make himself feel safe, and I had a lot of sleep routines as well. Um, and when he slept over, he used to sleep in my bed, and this went on all the way up until like our teens. And
How old is, so you're 4 or 5. How old is he?
he was 2 years younger.
What?
Yeah, yeah. And like in the beginning, it was like mild stuff, but like by by third grade, like we were getting really into
By the time you were in third grade, by the time he was in third grade.
by the time I was in third grade.
Like My brain is automatically going to what the heck was happening to him at his house for his mind to know to do anything like this at that age.
He was being passed around. His mom was using him for things like, you know, they forced him to like pee in cups so that they could pass the drug. It started at a really young age with him, like from the time he was just very neglected. And like he was the type that like would pull the tail off of a lizard because he'd pull the tail off of the lizard just to like watch it like squirming in pain and like would like that, you know. He was one of those ones like you knew he was like psycho. He was,
Did you ever tell anybody when he would come over and he started doing those things?
I didn't tell until I was 17, but there were huge red flags, huge red flags that everyone ignored. As a matter of fact, I just got in a huge fight with my brother. He knew about it, didn't say anything.
You think your father knew? I mean, your brother.
My dad hated my cousin. Like, my dad was one of his torturers. So, like, he didn't want him in the house, but, like, my mom was very insistent that, like, he had a safe and loving environment. And, like, I don't falter for that. And I actually am glad that he had that because as an adult, he has since adjusted and he's been, and I give him so much credit in the world for overcoming situation. Uh, and he's just really on the straight and narrow. He has a son now. And like he used to be the type of person I felt unsafe around, but now like really turned it around. And I remember he came into my work a couple of times, um, and I asked him not to because he was setting me up and just like triggering me. And he texted me on Facebook Messenger that I totally understand. Shut on this. I respect you, and like we went through a lot, and like that to me, like made me feel like finally he gets it. Like I went for a restraining order against my cousin, and it was there were so many restrictions on it and accommodations for him. I felt like I was being punished a lot. I felt like I was being blamed a lot, by both my family and by the judicial system. Hard word to say. But also like the whole process of like getting the restraining order was like horrific for me. Like I remember being in the courtroom by myself, no parents, and I'm telling the judge that like my cousin's raping me and I want a restraining order. Like he's like he was saying like you have to tell me exactly what he's doing to you, and I'm like he's raping me, and he's like no, but tell me exactly like using the anatomical terms and stuff. And I said, well, he has put his penis in every orifice of my body, and he's like, oh, so he put it in your ears? And I'm like, no.
Hold on, how old are you at this time?
I was like 17 at the time.
And this grown man
Yeah.
is demeaning you in public
Mm-hmm.
when you're trying to let him know that you're being raped.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just made me feel so small, and I was so nervous, and like I had the bad experience with that. So like when I had future things happen to me, I was really reluctant to go to the police. Like I never went to the police for any of the other stuff that has happened to me.
So you were 17 when you were getting the process started for getting a restraining order. That's when you first told your parents.
Yeah, yeah. I ran away. I pulled a Britney Spears and shaved my head, um, because because he had grabbed me by the hair and wouldn't let go, and I couldn't get away from him, and I didn't want anyone to ever like wrap their hand around my head. So I
Wow.
shaved my head, and I've kept my hair like pretty short ever since then.
That's what
Uh,
I noticed.
goes with
Like
my
I
aesthetic.
saw the short hair, but as soon as you said that, I immediately thought, dang, this experience she had as a child has dictated how she's allowing herself to wear her hair for her own safety and protection. That's
Yes, initially, but also like I was also at the same time queer, so like it just happens to fit my aesthetic, so like whatever. But yes, I primarily keep my hair short because of that.
so from the time you were 5 years old
Hmm.
to 17, it went from groping and all of the uncomfortable things to, I'm guessing, when you started developing and maturing physically, it just started getting progressively worse.
Before even that, like when I finally told about the abuse, I was telling my mom that like by third grade, we were full on having sex. And she like said to me like, well, no, you weren't really having sex because you're too young to do that. And I'm like, well, no, we were doing the act of intercourse. It was sex. Like, it was a penis going inside of a vagina. Like, that's sex. Like, that's what it is. And that's what was happening. Like, how dare you deny, like, such a big thing that happened to me? And it was happening 3 to 4 nights a week. And there were so many red flags, excuse my language, but like it makes me so angry that like so many people turned a blind eye, and like whether it was like in school with like the teachers and administration not believing me, or at home with everyone kind of sweeping stuff under the rug and ignoring red flags because it was easier to just not deal with it. Like, how do you think I feel? I have to deal with it all on my own. And like even like I'm gonna be 50 this year, and I am just like learning how to set boundaries and reclaiming myself. And like it took a long time, and I had like a bunch of failed like experiences with therapists that made things worse. And like thank God my mom was like my rock through that whole process. Like she slept in my room every night because like I was waking up screaming. And like if I didn't have her, I don't know what I would have done.
This is
But
post you going to court about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. When everything came out, like I just I was not regulated at all. I was really bad. And in addition, like my primary care physician like cornered me in a room and demanded a pelvic exam. And I had been through so much, I did not want anyone touching me. And like she locked the door and cornered me in the room. And that turned me off. So I wound up calling her a few curse words and shoving her out of my way and leaving. And I never went back. And I suffered what, like 35 years with horrific periods and like not getting the care that I needed. And last year I was diagnosed with endometrial cancer. And like, thank God, like it got so bad that I couldn't ignore it anymore. And I got treated, and I'm fine now. But like, it it really ruined my quality of life because I wasn't getting the care that I needed.
How old were you when you had that experience with your primary care physician?
17, like right when
All
I.
of this is happening.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
Did,
at the
did
same time, I'm dealing with an aunt and uncle who had died of AIDS, and my uncle was gay. So like my coming out process was difficult with my family, because they were very against queer people. They had so much anger. Um,
How old were you when you felt like you identified, like when that transition happened to this is how I feel, this is who I'm attracted to?
Oh, from the time I was little, I used to dress in my brother's clothes. Like I knew I was different from day one, but I didn't have the words for it.
Hmm.
And then I went through a period where I was super homophobic, pushing everything away, and like doing things like ripping down like the Gay Straight Alliance posters and spitting on them and stomping on them.
Hmm.
And then like the following year, I wound up being the president of the GSA. So like, yeah, I had a small period of like just totally denying and pushing everything away. But
All
I
of
found
this is like you're still at home, middle school age.
like 15, 16, yeah, leading up to it. Um,
What take me I don't want to sit here too long with your cousin, but
yeah,
you're saying that the adults, there were red flags for the adults. What do you identify as those red flags that were being ignored?
like just him being in my bed all the way up through like my teen years, but also like there were noises. I was refusing to take showers. I was refusing to care for myself. I was doing really bad in school. I was not making connections with anyone. And like some of that's the autism, but a lot of it was like I was pushing everyone away because I was getting abused from all sides, you know. And like nobody was stepping in to help me. And like even to this day, like my my parents know that I've been abused, but they don't know anything beyond that. I have never mentioned anything um to my family because they don't have the skill set to handle it. And that's taken me a long time in therapy to realize that.
Your cousin was coming over to your house
Mm-hmm.
and your parents, did he have a separate room to sleep in and then he would sneak into your room? They
Nope.
just like y'all sleep together.
Mm-hmm. They normalized it, and it went on for way too long. Like when it was younger, like it would have kind of sort of been seen as innocent, but like as we got older, no. Like why is he still sleeping in my bed and I'm 17? Like make him sleep on the couch.
So here's the question that I believe I know the answer to, but I have to ask it. Do you why is the question? Why did it take you once you like I mean you knew at a young age that this wasn't right, but
Yeah.
it took you till you were 17 to tell your parents what were actually going on, even though you know it could have been easily heard, or
Mm.
why did it take so long for you to finally tell them that?
Because I knew what he was capable of and he had hurt me so bad. He was a sadistic fuck. He was like textbook like sociopath and psychopath. Like he was really bad news. And one of his games was like hunting me down. Like I couldn't outrun him. He loved to like let me run a little bit and then he would like come and tackle me. He used to do things like hit me with belts, like with the buckle end, to get me to like if I ran away, I was getting it worse than if I stayed and allowed him to do what he wanted to do. And for me, it was easier to dissociate and just let him do what he needed to do, and then he would leave me alone than it was to like try to get help. And he used shame as a weapon as well. Um, like so much shame.
How did he weaponize shame?
He just made me feel like I was enjoying it and that it was my own choosing and that I was participating and that I I sought it out. And he also took advantage of the fact that I didn't have any friends. I didn't have a social life. And he would like pepper me with like attention. Um and like literally he was the only one showing me attention and I was just grabbing into it.
The amount of mental abuse that you endured, the amount of your mind has been reconfigured from an early age.
Yeah, my brain is totally different. Like I'm just in the beginning stages of like rewiring it. Um, but
Because
yeah,
not only is this happening, like this is it's all unhealthy, but it's a high level of unhealthy consistency that this is at 3 to 4 times a week
hmm
from 5 to 17. Well,
yeah, well,
once third grade,
yeah,
it's starting getting like, and then you get in middle school and high school, it's definitely 3 to 4 times a week. And you have your developmental years are jacked up
hmm
because you're witnessing your father mishandle your mother.
hmm
You're seeing him abuse your brother physically,
hmm
and you're being molested by a family member who's jacked up,
yeah,
and nobody's as much as your dad hated it, nobody's stepping in to check on you to see if you're okay, and they're ignoring everything like you just said that's taking place in these few years. So you told your mom when you were 17,
hmm
her response was, well, okay, I hear you, but we can't count the 4 and 5 and whatever years because y'all are way too young for that to count.
hmm
Does she acknowledge the wrong at after it was like, okay, but at 15, yeah, that was really bad. He shouldn't have been doing that. Like, how is she?
We don't even discuss it. We've never discussed it, and like I shut off a lot of that because like I feel like they don't deserve to know my story because they don't know what to do with it, and they hurt me more by hearing it.
So you made the decision yourself to say, well, I'm just going to take this to court.
Um, well, I don't think it was my decision. I think it was like kind of mandatory or whatever because I was so young. Um, I don't remember the whole process fully, but I do remember going to file a report and going to court. Like it was all on the same day.
Who took you?
My mom.
So she
My mom.
understood that it was, so she understood to a certain extent by the
Yeah.
time you're 17 and you told her, she's like, okay, well, this, we can't have this.
Yes. Yes.
So they moved him out.
hmm Yeah, he never came back again.
You went to court.
hmm
Why didn't she go in with you?
I don't know. They didn't allow her in. I don't know why, but they didn't allow
What?
her in.
You're a minor.
Yep. I think it was because I was over 16 or something, but yeah. They didn't allow her in the room with me when they were interviewing me, and they didn't allow her in the room when I was talking before the judge. They had her wait out. So
I
I
don't
was
know
in
if it's
by myself.
I don't know if it's because where you live, but I could have
Yeah,
sworn all 50 states minor means under 18.
yeah, that's what I thought.
And when you do have access to an attorney, they're saying you can't talk to this person without their parent present because they're a minor. But she wasn't allowed in the courtroom or the interrogation.
And like I was right on the cusp of 18, so I could have. And with me with timelines, they're all jacked up.
Hmm.
So I may have in fact been 18 by the time I got the restraining order,
Hmm.
but I told my parents at 17.
Even if you were 18, why am I mishandling this situation in such a way that I'm saying, oh, this is a very serious matter, but you can't have any support in here? I know the answer to the question because if your mom is in there, well, I don't think it would have mattered. The judge still would have spoke to you however he wanted to.
Yeah, yeah,
This is absurd. And this doesn't even include the abuse you're getting at school.
yeah. Like I'm lucky. I always say like if they didn't kill me, I probably would have killed myself, but I'm stronger than that. And I give myself huge credit for that because I don't know how I survived in school.
because there are
Nothing.
so many kids who are here who haven't experienced nearly, not we're not comparing traumas, but they haven't experienced nearly as much as what you just said, and they couldn't endure. They couldn't see that there could be a possible better future for them.
Yeah. And now see, like I look at other people that tell their trauma stories, and sometimes I'm like, geez, well, at least I didn't have it as bad as.
Right.
But then I have to tell myself, no, we are not comparing traumas. Trauma is
Mhm.
trauma
Trauma is trauma.
is trauma, and I have to acknowledge that because we haven't even gotten to my adult years, which are easily
This
as
is wild.
yeah.
My mind is, did you ever, you never got pregnant?
There was one time that I thought I was, but he kicked me for like 8 days straight. And then like I started bleeding, and I'm not sure like if it was, like I wasn't pregnant to begin with and it was just a bad period, but like it was pretty painful.
So
Um,
you told him, you thought you were, and you told him,
mhm.
and he just started kicking
Because I
you in
thought
the
maybe
stomach.
he would leave me alone if he knew. Maybe he would realize, oh fuck, I fucked up. No, no, you just beat me until I started, and I'm not sure if it was a miscarriage or if it was just I wasn't pregnant to begin with, and it's just because I had really bad periods before.
Max, this is so,
Believe it or not, it gets worse.
I don't, nope, I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it because I'm stuck. Like you talking about 12 whole years of your life of consistent witnessing someone else's abuse and two other family members and you being raped by someone who's younger than you.
Hmm. But he was more powerful. He was more sexually sophisticated than I was. He preyed on me being naive. He preyed on my shame. He preyed on my timidness, my personality. He preyed on the fact that I didn't have any friends. Like he was a master. And for so long, I thought that like I deserved it
Wow. You felt like you deserved it because you weren't able to be as sociable as you thought you should have been, or what made you think you deserved that?
because I felt like he was the only one showing me attention, and positive or negative, it was attention. But also, he like really manipulated my brain into believing, like he gaslit me into believing that like I was seeking out,
Hmm.
you know, and I wasn't. But I mean, trauma brain is funny the way it works, and like you get trained into this loop of like you do kind of seek it out sometimes, and so that like held me back from saying anything. But I have since like I consumed so much information, and like one podcast that really helped me was Katie Morton. Um, she's like a family and marriage therapist, but she touches a lot on like trauma brain, and it's helped me to realize that like some of the shit that I went through, it's normal. I'm not crazy. I'm not the, you know.
It's not normal,
Yeah,
but you're not crazy and you're not alone.
yeah, no, like it's not normal, but it's like that's how trauma brain
I
works,
see what you're saying.
you know. And so like I shouldn't feel like it's my fault that my brain's doing
Yeah.
that. It's been trained to do that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
because of that, like it affected my own adult relationships.
And we're not even there yet.
Yeah, no. I had a sweet spot between 19 and 23 years old. I had my first two girlfriends. They were amazing. They taught me about trust and love and good touch and what it feels like to have that. It blew my mind. It was like the first time I ever had that. They were just like really gentle, loving people. And then it went downhill from there.
So before we get to 19 or 23, we got to go back to you were in Catholic school until how old? Middle school?
Until sixth grade, and then I switched over to the public school.
And
And
you
I was
switched
switching
to
over
public
because,
school.
yeah, there was a girl in the neighborhood that was like kind of popular, and she was like, "You're having, you're being ostracized and pushed away by the kids at Catholic school. Come to the middle school. You'll meet more people. You'll make friends. You'll be fine." No, not
So
someone
she
with me.
convinced you to switch schools, and then you went to your parents saying, "Hey, I want to go to a different school," and they were like, "Okay."
Yep, yep. And they thought it was a good idea because I was so on the outside
Hmm.
at old Catholic school. But like if I had stuck with Catholic school, I would have been way better off.
Yeah.
You know, because like they didn't let like any of the severe bullying crap go on.
Hmm.
They didn't allow me. Like it wasn't even part of the picture. But in middle school it was, and then in high school I switched towns. Night and day difference. It was a bully-free environment at school, except for the fact that my cousin went to the same school as me. So I didn't even have like the sense of safety in a safe spot.
So from sixth to eighth grade for another 3 years, in addition to what you're already experiencing at home.
I was kept back in seventh grade. So I did seventh, and eighth grade
So for 4 years.
in the junior high. No, I did sixth grade in Catholic school, but
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
seventh, and eighth grade
okay.
I did middle school. And you know, I got pushed down a set of stairs one time and I literally like army crawled into a classroom to ask for help. I was like I was knocked out one day. Some kid like backhanded me across my throat and my esophagus like collapsed and I got knocked out and he poured a gallon of glue on me. I was like, it's not
A
right.
gallon of what?
Of Elmer's school glue on my back. And I had long curly hair. It was all in it. And the teacher came in and was like, "Is that how you treat a girl?" And he's like, "That's not a girl, that's an it." And then he got suspended, but like I wound up on indoor suspension with him.
Why?
I don't know. He made up some story. He made up some story. And when I went to the nurse's office, the nurse looked at me and said, "Well, what do you want me to do about it?" And she gave me like an ice pack. And they waited to call my mom. They wouldn't let my mom come down to the school. It was such a mess.
Okay, so for the people who don't understand, because things have changed, what year is seventh and eighth grade?
So that would have been 88, 89. Yeah.
Which isn't it doesn't make sense, but it's not surprising
Yeah.
because
And
they're not trained.
yeah. And since then, like things have changed, but in that particular school system, there still is a bullying issue.
That's crazy because you got whole new faculty, leadership, everything.
Hmm. I think, as a matter of fact, one of the middle school kids hung themselves because they were bullied so bad. From what it was either my town or the next town over. And I remember just crying. Like, like nothing's changed, you know.
So you're avoiding the physical abuse at home because your dad is directing it to your brother.
My dad had a weird relationship with me. He was grooming me. There were some weird things that are questionable,
Such
um,
as,
such as like in bath time. Like if I didn't wash myself good enough, he would wash me.
how old are you?
Young, young, like 4 years old to like maybe 7 years old.
But you remember this.
Yeah.
Why wasn't your mom giving you a bath?
It was, nudity was like normalized in our family. So like it was like no big deal, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But then like once I hit like 6 or 7, like I was getting too old for that, and like I was allowed to like date my own and stuff, like probably even younger. But but yeah,
The amount of carefulness that has to be had in your own household is outright insane. And I'm not just speaking for you, I'm speaking in general because there's so many generations of things being swept under the rug, like you mentioned, that family members are letting other family members get away with stuff that they shouldn't be, now making the younger generation the victims to all of this evilness in the home. Like the place is supposed to be the safest for the kids.
yeah. And jump to 25 years later, and my dad actually got arrested um for molesting his grandniece twice, and he pled no contest, and in return he got like probation. He didn't serve any time. And I remember going to pick him up at the jail. My mom and I went. Um, she borrowed money from her brother to bail him out, and she made me go with her. And I remember sitting in the car, and my dad's knocking on the window, and my mom's telling me, "That's your father. That's your father. Acknowledge him." And I'm like, I did not want to talk to this dude. And she also made me go to his court case when he was being arraigned, like because she couldn't do it. So she made me go.
Among all of the problems that are in the system, the courtroom, the ruling, because I had a conversation with somebody else. I can't remember if it's this season or last season, but basically what you just said is what's happening. And for people who don't get it, your dad was grooming you. There's no telling who else this has happened to. But then finally, his great niece
Mm-hmm.
shares the information. He gets arrested for it twice. But because he's like basically saying, hey, you're right, you got me, they are lenient and say, oh, well, since you agree to this, we're not going to waste anybody else's time. Let's just go ahead and let you, thank you for acknowledging your wrongdoing. Go back.
Yeah, but since they let him off, he has since developed the mindset that he didn't do anything wrong and that she's a slut. She was 13 at the time. She looked like a 21-year-old. She was very developed. She was, and his story matched hers. So how can you deny it if you're saying the same exact things? Like, he's got a lot of mental health issues and he doesn't like to admit to things. And like, as a matter of fact, last week, not even like 4 days ago, he called me and got in a fight saying, "Oh, Ma got a restraining order, and she said that I was physically abusive, and I've never been that, and I'm getting a lawyer to fight it." And I'm like, "But Dad, you were physically abusive." "No, I wasn't." "Yes, you were." And I gave examples of him like going after my brother with a hockey stick, or picking up him up by the hair and throwing him across the room because he didn't pick up his Legos. And like he used to he used to hit my brother a lot, and he used to threaten my brother, like, come on, let's go out on the lawn. You think you're such a big man, I can take you. And he would be like, Dad, you're my dad. I don't want to fight you. Plus, my brother would kill him. Um, and like, it was really bad. Like, my brother has never done anything to deserve all the shit that my dad throws on. And like, I get very defensive, even though I hate my brother and I'm estranged from him. Like, I still get defensive when it comes to him, when it comes to my dad.
What's the age difference between you and your brother?
He's 3 years older.
And he lived in the house with you until he was 18.
Mm-hmm. He couldn't get away fast enough.
Have you
Because
ever had a conversation with him about what you experienced with your cousin?
we actually had a fight, probably 4 months ago. Because
You
he
and your
told,
brother.
yeah, because he told my cousin, who was like my biggest supporter. I love her. If I didn't have her, I'd definitely be dead. He told her that my childhood abuse, that I said that I was introducing him as my sexual partner when I was in like third grade. Like, first of all, no, that never happened. And he said that like some kids like were asking him like, why is she saying this? And he like pushed it away and was like, no, 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 that's not true. No, no, because he didn't want to deal with it because he was embarrassed. And like, honestly, I would have done the same thing, like denied it and pushed it away. I don't blame him for that, but he saw things after that as he was growing up, and even as like he was getting older and we were teens and stuff, and he never said anything. And like him and his wife are like talking behind my back about my childhood, like sexual abuse. He's not in my life. My brother left and he didn't come back until just recently. He knows nothing about me. He knows nothing about what I went through. And he let it go on. He didn't protect me like an older brother should. And he is playing himself as the victim. I had to carry that all these years. Yeah, no, I had to carry it all these years. And
Your
that,
story, like the title of this is how many times can you be failed? You know, like how many people can fail you in one lifetime?
it gets worse.
That's what I'm like that's what I'm saying because I'm like we're here, we're literally still we ain't crossed 17. We haven't crossed 17. Your brother, your dad, your mother, your cousin, the judge, the teachers at school, the nurse, the school principal, the guy that's like,
Yeah, everything.
okay,
As a matter of fact, that just jogged my memory. The reason why I got the restraining order is because I told a guidance counselor what was happening. Because
and
she and
this
I,
is after you moved to the new school, right? In the ninth
yeah,
grade.
yeah, I was 17. I had developed a really close relationship with her because I saw her like twice a week because I was really doing horrible in school and skipping a lot. And I told her what was happening. And as a mandated reporter,
Mm-hmm.
she had to, file a report, and that led to the restraining order.
Wow.
And she saved me. She saved me. And then also the school nurse at that school. I was in the office one day and I was laying down because I hadn't slept. I was having horrible sleep and I was falling asleep in class, so they sent me to the nurse's office to take a nap. And as I was in there, my cousin comes in for like something stupid, and I just started like shaking and crying. And she's like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "That's my abuser." And like she sent him out. She took me in a separate room. And I said, "It's okay. We're in the process of a restraining order, and like my parents know, so you don't have to be like, oh, I got to report this. It's already been reported, um, and we're taking care of it, but I can't have him in the same room." And she was very protective of me.
I don't think people can even begin to imagine how it feels to grow up around so many people, but grow up all alone. You have
Yeah.
so many people around you, and
Hmm.
you're isolated
Yep. Even as an adult.
in a crowd. So in the courtroom, the judge is making you, oh my God. Like the disrespect and the dismissament's not a word. The disrespect and the dismissiveness. Like it just is so, it's so, it triggers anger so easily because you're here to try to, your job with this position and this authority is to be non-biased and hear the facts. And when to imagine it's, and really when it's men, like it's men that really get me about this thing, because you treat women and girls like this as if you didn't come from one, as if you don't have your own daughters.
But it's even worse when the women fail me.
That's true,
Like
because
I
you're a
feel
woman.
like expect it from the men, but like when the women do it, it's even worse. And like that's kind of why like I agreed to do this interview because I want to talk about my relationship because like not a lot of people talk about women on women violence. And like if I can help one person feel like they're not alone, then like I've done my job.
Yes.
Um, Especially as someone that's like the mask one in the relationship. Like
Mm,
I'm expected to be like, strong and hard and like
yes.
the man in the relationship.
Yes.
And I've never been allowed to have feelings. Nobody's ever allowed me to have feelings until just recently.
You said something that's so important. Everything you just said is so important. And you said something that's so jacked up at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's worse when the women do it. This is an important conversation. One, because this is women on women intimate partner violence, which you'll
Mm-hmm.
be the second person that's talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're the first that said that you're the mask in it or not. I don't know, because the other one didn't say it, but that's important because, like you said, because of the position or the label that you have, people expect you, just like anything else, as if all humans aren't supposed to be emotional. But what is so disappointing, because it's true, is when you said women on women is worse, you expect it from the men. And that
Mm-hmm.
should not be an expectation, but that's the world we live in.
Exactly. And I've had a few relationships with men that were like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And like I have friendships now that are so loving and supportive. Like um Maggie Weber that you interviewed, I'm in a Discord that she has for her podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and I've gotten to know the people over the past like year and a half. And I have so many men in that group that are like so loving and
Yeah.
supportive and kind. And it's important for me to have that. And like it's the first time in my life where I'm really feeling that. And
Yes.
like I have grown and changed and blossomed over the past like year and a half like crazy. And also I have a therapist who's amazing that I've been going to for 6 years. I have my cousin Margot. She's just amazing. She's a um clinical social worker,
Mm-hmm.
and she's been super supportive, and she got me in with my therapist because they
All right.
worked together, and I've been seeing her for 6 years, and she's amazing. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I am without her. And then through her, I also gained an EMDR therapist, and I just started EMDR like the end of last year, and it's it's it it's the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's also the most rewarding and most
Mm-hmm.
helpful. And then I just started with a pelvic floor therapist, because I have an issue where my body clamps down with any sort of like penetration, and she's trying to like rewire my brain.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've got this team of support that's incredible. Like I'm really spoiled. And like also I'm low income, so I'm on Mass Health, which is like the state healthcare, and I don't have to pay for anything. If
Yeah.
I had to pay for this, like I'd be paying through the nose.
Yeah.
Um, and so I am incredibly lucky. So of course I am taking advantage of whatever I can get.
Everything you can.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I'm really blessed with who I have in my life. And Maggie is one of them. We've become like friends over the past year. And
That's amazing.
like I talked to her last week about the interview, like just to get a feel for like what to expect. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, it's the most incredible experience, and you're gonna do great, and it's gonna be so good for you." So
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah, and it's important to have like women in my life that are like kind to me and supportive
Mm-hmm.
and like really on my team, you know.
Yes.
And I've surrounded myself with like a core group of friends. I've got a couple of friends I've been friends with since high school that are vital to me,
Yeah.
and I have like good people in my life. It's a small circle, but it just incredible people.
That's the most important. Like people think it's about having a huge group of people, and it's not. It's about having a close knit core group of people who are truly team you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's amazing
Yeah.
that
There's
you're here now. And like like you've been with your therapist for 6 years. Guys, therapy is so important, even if you're not in an abusive ship or haven't been in one. In general, people overlook it and talk about it and think that like it makes you a punk, it makes you weak. No, it helps you heal. It makes your life the life that
everyone
you're
should be in
created to
therapy.
have. Yes,
Everyone should be in therapy
everyone.
because everyone's got something going on in their life.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It doesn't have to be abuse, but like everyone's
Mm-hmm.
got something going on in their life that like, why not have support?
Yes,
You know?
yes. Healthy support,
Yeah.
because honestly, everybody has some level of trauma that they've lived through, and they don't, everybody doesn't know that it was trauma. And then some
Hmm.
people have suppressed it so much they don't want to face it, which causes all the issues. Abusive partners are the result of suppressed trauma.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be abusive if you handled your crap. The crap
Mm.
you went through, if you actually healed from it, you wouldn't be this person.
Yeah.
So you switch schools.
Hmm.
Gosh.
And things
You
got
s-
much, much, much better, but it was still very difficult because my abuser was at the school. And because I
I'm
was dealing with like multiple deaths in the family, and I was dealing with like the whole queer issue,
mm-hmm,
and like I was just skipping school a lot, and I was hanging around in this place. We call it the Pit, but it was like
mm-hmm,
in Cambridge, Mass. And a lot of like runaway homeless kids hung out there. And
mm-hmm,
like, I am lucky that I am the type that's always on the fringe of things. I flew under the radar
mm-hmm.
because a lot of the girls that were there wound up being, preyed on by older men, were sexually assaulted a lot.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and I was also going to the Boston Alliance of Gay and Lesbian Youth. And as it turned out, there was a lot of abuse from the adult advisors on the kids thing. And
You
luckily,
didn't experience any of that, right?
no, no, I was under the radar for that too. So like, I lucked out being a loner.
God. Like that,
Apparently, it was inconspicuous enough that they didn't prey on me.
like you can't get away from it. I mean, you
Yeah,
can, but you can get away from it, and it's everywhere.
yeah. Like 95% of my friends, particularly women friends, have experienced abuse of some sort, or like sexual inappropriateness.
Yes.
It's crazy, like how prevalent it is. Like with like the whole Epstein files and stuff, like there's like a vast network of people where like it's okay to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get the mindset of that. And I'm so
Mm-hmm.
glad that I'm not the type to perpetuate the cycle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You switch schools. You're in a new school, but you're in the school with the person who's raping you
Hmm.
every week.
Yeah.
And 17, that's your senior year. So you,
Junior year. Junior year.
so you file a police report your junior year.
Yep.
So you get a year and a half of con- protected protected confinement,
Hmm.
like because, like you said, you're you're not dealing with this, but because y'all go to the same school and they can't force either of y'all not to go to the same school, now you can't walk freely in the school.
Exactly. He was always around the corner. And he loved that because it was like a mental intimidation that he
Yes.
was able to continue.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it
Mm.
wasn't until I graduated where I was completely free from him. And then I was also completely free to like explore a little bit like with relationships and stuff. Like I said, my first two girlfriends were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they both moved away. Because otherwise I probably would have stuck with them a lot longer. Um, but they were just amazing people in my life, and they showed me like what is capable and
Yeah.
what is out there,
Yeah.
and that I don't have to settle for crap. Although I did, I wound up settling. I wound up latching on to like my relationships after that. I wound up latching on to people that were showing me attention.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. And that's
and,
what it is. Like we, for so many reasons, same and different, we seek attention outside of ourselves. We seek validation, approval. We seek security, confidence. We seek you are enough, not from within, but from the outside. And when we're doing that from the people from the outside, we're opening ourselves up to these types of situations.
mhm. Because you don't see the red flags
Mm-hmm.
necessarily. It blinds you to it. It allows you to justify a whole lot more.
Yes.
But also, I'm the type of person that I need to fix people, and that's my
Yes.
worst problem. I I I
I can
I
help you.
go through like the initial period of everything's awesome,
Mm-hmm.
and then they start like getting really bad. But I keep like wanting to fix them and take them back to who the
Yeah.
person was that I knew. Um, and actually, my second girlfriend, no, my third girlfriend, um, I re-met up with her as an adult, and we
Okay.
ended up going out together, and she wound up being one of the most abusive people in my life. And like her next girlfriend that she had after me was beaten so badly that she went to jail for it. And it was drugs. It
You
started out
thought
great.
she had changed?
No, when I first I happened to be like going through a really bad depression, and I was just walking through the city, and I went into this cafe, and she was working there, and she saw me, and she vaulted over the counter, and she was like, "Oh my God!" And we
Mm-hmm.
reconnected, and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was everything. She was amazing. Like I couldn't ask for, a better person. Um, but she was a chef, and in the culinary world there's a lot of drug use, and she got into drugs, and it changed her. And the progression at first was like so slow that I didn't notice it. By the time I did notice it, the red flags were just flying, and I was in too deep. Um and yeah, backtracking a little bit, like right before I started dating her again, um I had been beaten and gang raped. and she really was helping me through that. And it was a really hard time in my life, and I felt like she came along to rescue me. So when she turned out being abusive too, like it only took,
Max.
yeah, it only took one hit. It only took one hit. And it was, we were being intimate and she triggered me and I shoved her off me and she got offended by that and she punched me and I was like, get out, get out. And she got out and I dodged a bullet with her. Um, but the next woman wasn't so lucky. And she's lucky she survived it.
Okay. Hold the phone.
Like I said, it gets worse.
So let's travel back to 23 when you meet her the first time.
Yeah.
And of course, she shows you everything. That's amazing, right? Y'all first link up,
Mhm.
everything's amazing.
Yeah.
How long into getting to know each other or the relationship do you, as you look back now, do you see the flags that were either justified, dismissed, or ignored?
When we were younger, there were no red flags.
Okay.
She wasn't affected by drugs yet at that point.
Okay. So she was still, wait, so why did y'all break up?
She moved away.
Oh, so this, the one
She
that you're
moved
talking
away.
about now wasn't one of the abusive ones. She was one of the first two.
No, no, I had three initial
Okay,
girlfriends in the
okay, okay,
period of 19 to 23. The first two were amazing. They moved away.
okay.
She was amazing. She was also my first sexual experience
Mm-hmm.
of my own choosing.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so like I use that as like a frame of reference for all my other relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we re-met as adults, I was kind of like looking back on that, but also she was really amazing in the beginning.
Okay.
And then things just went really bad. And I was not at a good point in my life. Like I was really suicidal and stuff. So also like I was kind of desperate for someone to rescue me and she
Yeah.
was like filling that role. Um, because I was so dysregulated. And like for a short while, I was really happy. Um,
What
which was a
shifted?
stark contrast because prior to that, I was really, really, really bad, like
Mm-hmm.
suicidal and everything, because because I had been, you know, set up and
Yeah.
beat up and raped. And then, like, when I told my mom, she said to me, okay. I didn't even tell her that I was raped. I just said I was sexually assaulted because I couldn't even say the words. But like I felt like I needed to tell her because I was lashing out at her a lot and she didn't know why. And at the same time, she was dealing with my brother. I'd been in a severe motorcycle accident and almost died.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
Gracious.
I didn't want to burden her with this.
Yeah.
But, and then, like, she kind of turned around on me. She's like, "You're a horrible judge of people. Um, d you shouldn't have been drinking at a house that you didn't know the people at, and like,
Hang
you
on,
shouldn't
wait,
have
wait, wait, wait,
lived
wait.
with
You're 23 at this time?
No, no, this was as an adult. This was like 8 years ago.
Okay. Hold before we get there. When you were 23 and you were with her,
Mm,
that relationship ended just because she moved away?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
She actually asked me to go out to San Francisco with her, and I almost did. But
okay.
my family's all here, and I had to stay here. So I
Okay.
didn't go out with her. And I think a lot sometimes about like what our lives could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because she went to jail and she got clean. She got out. She was on like a work release program type of thing
Mm-hmm.
where she was working in a bakery and she wound up being reintroduced to drugs. And she called me one night. She was really, really bad and she was asking me to help her. And I refused because, I can't fix people and I
Yeah.
didn't want her back in my life. And I couldn't forgive what she had done to the other woman. And she wound up overdosing. And I carry that guilt of like if I had just helped her, that wouldn't have happened.
It would have happened. It just wouldn't have happened that time.
Yeah, yeah. And like I know this. I
Yeah.
know I couldn't have prevented it.
Yeah.
I know this now. But like at the time when it happened, I carried such tremendous guilt. But
Yes.
I still wear our engagement ring because
Mhm.
it reminds me to, remember to be human
Yeah.
and remember not to be mean because like she went through a lot too. She had a trauma history and
Hmm.
the big reason why she was taking drugs to like she wasn't facing things.
Yeah. So she moves away,
She
and
moved
you
away.
just have a history like every partner after that ends up being abusive in some form or fashion. Like you don't have a good
I went
experience.
eh, I went through like a 10-year period where I didn't date anyone and I was fine with that. I was going to
Hmm.
college at the time and it was eating
Hmm.
up all of my time.
Hmm.
I couldn't have had a relationship even if I wanted one. But like it was fine for me to just like coast along with no like commitments or
Hmm.
responsibilities to
Hmm.
anyone else, just myself. And like I kind of lived in that space of time, just like in blankness, like one day melted into the next. And
Yeah.
like I was just plugging along. Um, and then I wound up having a stroke and I had to quit school just shy of a teaching degree. Um,
Max.
it took me 10 years to do my undergrad because I was so fucked up. Um, and like in and out of school. And I was just shy of getting my teaching degree for special education. And I had to do like a lesser degree that's like kind of not worth anything. But I don't regret my schooling at all. I'm sad that I don't get to have the career that I want. Um,
Hmm.
but also having the stroke was a blessing in disguise because it helped to unveil like some other medical issues that I've
Okay.
since taken care of. And
Okay.
it's got me like on a much healthier path and like I kind of almost needed it to happen.
Hmm.
It was life changing, but ultimately in a positive way.
I'm gonna
Hard
put
to
this
say
out
that
there.
about a stroke, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, all things work together for the good.
hmm.
Uh, just a quick nugget. I'm gonna say you could still have that teaching career. I believe it is possible for you to go back, finish up, pick up a couple of courses. I'm no pressure. I'm just saying it ain't off the table.
All I have left to do is my classroom observation, like my 1 year of classroom observation, and my last two teaching exams because I
Yep.
aced the first two.
Yep.
But I tried taking the practice exams and I can't read or retain information like I used to, which is really sad because I was a voracious reader. I was a nerd
Hmm.
my whole life. I used to skip school to go to the library. Like,
Yeah.
I used to read the encyclopedia for fun. So I'm
There's a way
smart
around
enough.
this. There's a
Yeah,
solution.
man.
I think that, ooh, just brainstorming here. Then we're gonna get back to the story. Brainstorming would be, hey, here's my medical history. This is how my mental capacity has changed.
Mm.
Are there accommodations to where if I take this exam, maybe proctored electronically, where it could read to me so that you're not having to read the exam?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's a way that it can still be
Yeah.
done for
I
you
have
to
a lot of
still be able to
fear.
do it.
With the degree that I have, I can be a paraprofessional. I can definitely work within a classroom and
Mhm.
like but I've just had so many medical things going on that like I really
That's
just
fair.
I'm spending time like taking care of my mental and physical needs right now and getting
Yeah.
myself like good. But yeah, I eventually want to get back in the classroom because it's
And you
it's my
will.
comfort zone. Yeah. And like the whole reason why I went to school for special education is because I have ADHD, I have autism. Like I I know how to make a comment. It comes naturally to
Hmm.
me to see the patterns in people and how to accommodate things to like so that they can learn in a way that like clicks with them. I'm
Yes.
really good at that. Um,
Hmm.
But holy, doing that plus a double major of literature, I was stupid choosing literature. It's so much work. I've done like literally 15,000 pages of paperwork between the two
Goodness.
majors. Like crazy amount of writing. But I love to write. I love to read. But
Yeah.
I haven't really read anything since my stroke.
Hmm.
Um, I'm struggling through Maggie's book right now. She's friggin' hilarious.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
check it out. Okay, back to the back to the show. We just had a brief moment, but I had to I couldn't let that slide. I'm an encourager. Like my gift is encouragement, and I'm like, no, I believe in you, Max. I believe there's a way you can do this. It's not off the table. You get yourself good, and it is back on. You hear me? It's back on. Okay,
Oh yeah.
as are we. So you have your
Yeah.
10-year gap of all that. And then you're like, okay,
Mhm.
I feel like I'm in a space where I can start entertaining the idea of a partner again.
Yeah. Yeah. And I dated a couple of guys, and it was all like loose dating. It wasn't like full on relationships, but they were amazing and they were kind and sweet to me, and I just kind of like coasted along with that. But like knowing that like I wasn't in a committed relationship like really freed me up. But I have like two sides of me. Like I border on asexual, but then I
Mm-hmm.
also am hypersexual.
Mm-hmm.
And like it depends like on like the time period in my life. But like
Yeah.
after college, like um I really got like a little bit fixated on being hypersexual as a coping mechanism
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of stressors in my life. Um and like there were, there were some really nice guys, and I took advantage of the fact that like people are paying positive attention to me and I'm just having
Mm-hmm.
fun, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't put any pressure on myself. Um and then I was in an online relationship with someone for a little bit. But yeah, after the couple of guys that I dated Ren again, and she was amazing. And like I said, it was after a horrific um gang rape. That was really bad. Like I don't know how I survived that one.
So how old were
Um,
you at that time?
that was like 7 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago that happened. I
So
lose
you're
track of
early
time so
40s.
bad. Yeah, yeah. I was like 40, 41 when
And
it
this is when
happened.
you're not exclusively dating anyone. So you were just out hanging out. Like what happened?
Not dating anyone. My brother was in Florida. He had been in a second motorcycle accident. The
Oh,
first one crushed his entire skull, and left him with really bad nerve damage and like just horrific. Like he feels like he's being tasered in the face every day.
oh
So
my gosh.
I get why he's
Oh my gosh.
um yeah, and also he had like some brain damage that caused like some of his filter to be removed. So he can be a bit of a sometimes, but like I cut him all the slack in the world because I shouldn't, but I do.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, he was in a second bicycle accident, crushed the other side of his skull, and he was having both brain clots and brain bleeds. And the treatment for one can kill him with the other, and vice versa. So he was really hanging in the balance of like dying.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was up in Massachusetts, just waiting to hear something. Um, and I was going out of my mind. So I decided to go to a bar, and just, have a couple of drinks to try to quiet my mind. Um, I was sitting there drinking, and I saw someone from my teenage years when I used to hang around in the pit.
Hmm.
And she was like, "Hey, I know you." And she said to me, like, "Nobody should be drinking alone. Come sit with us." So I sat with them. I got progressively drunker, and they said, "We're going to a holiday party. You want to come with us? Come with us. Like, you're not doing anything. It'll be good to get your mind off." And I went to the party with them. And then, like, half hour into it, she took off to go, like, do some drugs in the back room, and I don't do hard drugs. So I was like, I'm fine. I'm just gonna stay here. And I wound up chit chatting with this girl, and she was telling me about how like her boyfriend's being a dick, and she's just avoiding him. And we were like just watching TV and drinking, and she asked if I wanted to like smoke some weed, and then we went out on the back porch and we were, messing around, and her boyfriend came back, and she saw him coming, and she said, I can't deal with this, and she just left. And meanwhile, like I stood up
Like
pretending like
left the party.
yeah, yeah. And I stood up like pretending like nothing was going on, like I wasn't caught with my hand in the cookie jar. Um and like I lit a cigarette and I was just standing there, and all of a sudden this dude comes up behind me and he just growls in my ear, and he says, fucking dyke, and he punched me right here. Um and I went flying off of the back deck and landed on like the ice. And that initially knocked me out. And when I came
Wait, you landed
to,
on ice, so it's wintertime.
yeah, yeah,
There's a lake or something.
it was a Christmas party. It was like the snow had like a crust of ice on it.
Yes.
Um, so when I came to, him and two of his friends were dragging me to a garage, and I was trying to get my footing. I was trying to grab onto the ice, and like my fingernails got all ripped.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
it was bad. I couldn't, I couldn't get my footing because it was so icy. Um, and they threw me in the garage and they took their turns with me, and he was like, you took what was mine, now I'm gonna take it back. And like it was bad, and I was in and out of consciousness the whole time. And like there's like some things that I remember vividly, and some things that like I must have been blacked out. And God knows what happens in the periods that I was blacked out. But it was really bad, and I wound up running away from there. I didn't have my shoes and I didn't have a coat. I couldn't find them, but I found everything else. And I was like running through the streets. I had no clue. I kind of had a clue where I was, but I had no clue really. I was kind of going in circles. I was um I was looking over my shoulder thinking they're coming after me. Um and I was like it's the middle of winter. I didn't have any shoes on. And I found a pair of like work boots on somebody's porch, and I put them on and I said, I'm sorry, but I need these boots. I know it's stealing, but I need these boots. And then I just kept walking until like my intent was to just keep walking until I found someplace familiar. And I wound up bumping into a friend of mine who was walking their dog. And she brought me back to her house and she gave me some of her husband's clothes. And I asked to take a shower, and she tried to convince me to go get a rape kit. And I said, no, that's not happening. Um,
Why? Why didn't you want to do that?
I was too hurt, and I couldn't mentally deal with it being exposed like that, because it's a very intrusive exam, because I've had one done before. And
Wait, Max. How many lives are in this story? Max. Wait.
it's just, yeah.
Wait, whoa, okay. This is early 40s. When and why did you have one done before? I'm guessing this wasn't because of the cousin.
No, no, this was one of the people after college got a little handsy with me, and it was my decision to go get the rape kit, but I didn't wind up doing anything with it, and I regretted the experience because it was like more traumatizing for me than it would have been to just like walk away, you know. Um, and I couldn't go through with that again. So, you know, so my mom was down in Key West, and she was down there for like, no, she was in Miami. because my brother had to get med flighted there. Um, she was in Florida for 2 weeks, so I just spent 2 weeks at that girl's house, recovering. Um, and my job was very accommodating. And very like if my coworkers really saved me too. Like they were a close knit group of friends. It was a all female staff. I was working at like a Starbucks inside of a grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
and they were really accommodating. And one of our regular customers was the sweetest guy ever. Smelled exactly like my attacker, like a mix of like um, motor oil and
Mm-hmm.
man pheromones and sweat and cigarettes. And like anytime I smelled him coming, I would freak out and I would have to go like down to the basement where they did the baked goods, and I'd go sniff the baked goods to get his scent out of my nose because like
Oh my
it
gosh.
was really bad. And like they knew if they saw me running off the floor, that was fine. And then like one day I said to myself, this guy is really nice and he's the type that would have protected you if he had known what was going on at that party, and like give him a chance. And like I kind of retrained my brain to not freak out so much by his smell.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because there's also a smell that I associate with peen, and like it's some sort of soap or something like ivory or something, something really common.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that like when I smell it, like I get um and yeah, when I would smell him before I saw him coming, and I'd just freak out and run off the floor.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So so that happens,
Mhm.
and there's an answer for a lot of people why people don't go. Why don't you file a police report? Why don't you go to the police? This instance is why didn't you get a rape kit so that you could get them
I I actually
justice?
didn't go to the police because I couldn't identify the house where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't identify the people that I was with.
Mm-hmm.
So how am I supposed to file a report?
Yep.
Because like there's nothing to go after.
Yep.
And I wound up actually seeing one of the guys on the train like a few years ago, and I freaked out. Um, yeah. I also found the house. I spent so many years like just walking around the general area trying to find the house. And I found the house one day. And I was out to dinner with two mutual friends, and I started saying to them, guys, I found the house. I found the house. And one of my friends who's been friends with me since high school, she's like, that's it. I'm sick of hearing about this. And like she just dropped me like a hot potato. I haven't talked to her since then.
Wow.
She has a trauma history, so I'm assuming like she just couldn't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm used to people abandoning me though.
That's not talked about enough. The what's not talked about enough is how other people can't handle the constant exposure to the conversation around the trauma.
hmm hmm
But
Yeah.
that one really hurt you.
That one really hurt me because it reminded me of when I was in junior high. I had like one friend, and she said to me, I can't be friends with you anymore because then I'm going to become a target too. And we can't be seen with each other. And she was like, I used to stick up for her because she was an outsider. And for her to do that to me, it's like, you know what it feels like to be an outsider. Why are you doing this? But like, at the same time, like, I get it, and I don't want you to be a target either. I love you enough to let you go. Um, but it just made me, I just, I was so solitary and
Mm.
everything.
Because you grew up not having a lot of friends, and to have somebody who's been there for so long.
Mhm.
And like you said, because she's had her own trauma that she had to deal with, that results in an inability to have healthy communication. And so
Mhm.
instead of saying, I honestly don't have the capacity to receive everything that you keep saying, and
Yeah.
trying to process that you're not healing from yet, she's
Hmm.
just like, I can't do it. And I drop and I walk away, which
Yeah.
causes more pain and damage to both of you now.
The thing is, though, I didn't really unload on her.
Mm-hmm.
It was few and far between. So
She had,
she just couldn't handle it.
yeah,
And
she
some
didn't have the
people
capacity.
can't. And like, I kind of have to respect that in a way, because like,
Yeah,
it's hard to have these discussions.
it
And like, you
is.
have to have the headspace for it, you know?
Yes. And that's why I love this, because I sit here and I'm like, people can't, I truly believe that this space is for healing, for those of us who need to be able to have this free conversation about experiences in which we were silenced,
Yeah.
but it's also to help those who have or have not experienced understand different things. But not
Hmm.
everyone can sit here and listen to 2 3 hours of straight up trauma for one sitting. And I'm
Hmm.
like, this is so important to
Yeah.
me, because you have friends, like we all have friends,
Mm.
but they don't have the capacity to allow this to come out.
They're not
And
my
it's
therapist.
different.
They're not my therapist.
Exactly.
And I've learned to ask, do you have the headspace for some heavy stuff? And I've learned about like trigger warnings,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very mindful of it now.
Yes.
Um, but when I was going through all the big emotions and everything, and when I was
Mm-hmm.
first like revealing about like the gang rape and about Ren, and like it was too much for me to handle on my own, so I needed to talk to someone, and I did not have a therapist at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And like I unloaded on my cousin Margot for like a whole entire year before she was like, "All right, dude, you need some serious help. I can't keep doing this." And like I don't blame her. And she's been really good at like setting appropriate boundaries and modeling that for me,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's helped me to learn how to set boundaries.
Yeah.
Um yeah, and like that's exactly what I needed, and she hooked me up with the best therapist ever.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then like I finally felt like I could talk about
Mm-hmm.
things.
Yep.
But like the first couple of years though, I spent so much time like trying to process the fact that like my mom
Mm-hmm.
isn't capable of being the mom that I need. She's amazing in a lot of ways, but she's incapable of being the mom that I need to be.
Yeah.
And she didn't have the skill set. She doesn't have a trauma history, so she doesn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And for her to say something like after I revealed to her about my sexual assault that like, well, you just learn from this and move on. Like, what? That took me so long to get over that.
Yeah.
And like it took my therapist saying like, okay, listen, I'm gonna drop you pretty much if you don't stop talking about your about this particular thing. You need to let it go. You need to learn how to
Yeah.
let it go. And it's hard.
Yeah.
You wish that your parents would be there for you in the way that they're supposed to. And like
Right.
especially your mom, you wish like they would have that motherly instinct, because
Mm-hmm.
I see her with a motherly instinct with everybody else. But with me,
Mm.
like I'm the scapegoat of the family, I'm the black sheep. Um, you know, with
Dang.
her narcissistic behavior, my brother's the golden child and I'm the black sheep of the family.
Dang.
But at the same time, for a long time, like up until um, politics started clashing. We were best friends. We did everything together, and like she was my life.
Wow.
But we have since like drifted apart.
I don't think I mentioned this yet. We have to highlight the fact that you said you've been in therapy for 6 years.
Hmm.
6 years, and you said this last year you're just now getting to a space of you seeing the healing,
Yes.
because people want the end result, but they don't want to admit how long it could potentially take to get there. And it has a lot to do with us, our honesty, our willingness to accept correction, our willingness to accept
Hmm.
instruction, apply it, and do it everything. But
Exactly.
healing takes time,
Yeah, and you carry your
especially if
trauma
you
for
have
the
one
rest of your
ears.
life. You carry your trauma for the rest of your life. It's just a matter of learning how to manage it and
Yeah.
cope with it.
Yeah.
I use the analogy that like it's like a storage unit and you got
Hmm.
everything shoved in there and like if you open the door it's all going to topple on you. But doing therapy and doing the work means you're not getting rid of well, you're getting rid of some stuff like the unnecessary shit, but you're packing it away in a manageable way that's
Hmm.
organized and put away so that it doesn't come crashing down on you.
Right. Whew. So y'all, she's 6 years in and she ain't done. So that's
Nope.
just
Nope.
anyone who thinks that you're just supposed to heal, anyone who's judging her healing, anyone who's judging the fact that she's laughing during this episode, understand. And I bring that up because I had somebody reach out to me about someone else's episode. I don't even know them, but they hopped up in my DMs trying to call the person who came out to tell their story. She's a liar. She's this. She's that. Blah 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 blah. Like attacking everything that she said. Meanwhile, what she said didn't. She didn't mention any names of anybody, which
Yeah.
further lets you know this is the issue
Mhm.
that y'all got, because she ain't saying nobody's name, but you're assuming it's you or the other people you know, then that
Yeah.
tells you all you need to know. But she said in the comment in her paragraph at the end, she's like, I'm sorry that my healing can't be as perfect as hers, because
Mhm.
obviously the person who reached out to me has their own trauma. And I'm like, nobody's healing is perfect. I didn't respond to her, but I'm saying this to you and y'all that are listening. Nobody's healing is perfect. But that kind of statement lets you know that you're not where you need to be. If
Yeah.
you're judging someone else's joy beyond the pain that they've endured and experienced and lived through to tell about it.
Yeah, like one of the reasons that I'm estranged from my brother now is because he told me that I needed to stop seeing my therapist and my EMDR therapist because I wasn't getting better, I was getting worse. Even though I had warned my family that with EMDR therapy, it dysregulates you sometimes and you get worse before you get better because it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard to do the work. And I put in so much hard work that like my therapist have to tell me to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like I'm in this like mindset where like I'm doing things for me now and everyone else can like just bite me,
Yes.
you know?
Yep.
And my brother has this like grand idea of how he's gonna save me. And like I'm like, how are you gonna save me more than two trauma specialists that are doing actual real work with me
Right.
and I'm making so much progress. He doesn't know anything about my life. He doesn't know the progress that I've made. If you
Right.
looked at me 6 years ago, I was just a shell of a person.
Yeah.
I'm just coming into myself now. I'm just discovering what I like, what I don't like, what I'm willing to
Uh,
allow in my life, and I'm setting boundaries for the first time, and they don't like that. Um, but like I had to develop this, and I feel like it's almost like a defense mechanism of like pushing everyone away and kind of building up walls. But at the same time,
mhm,
I'm surrounding myself with chosen family. I'm surrounding myself with
mhm.
people that do love and support me and love me for who I am and are
Yes.
there for me. And that's like hugely important to me. And I finally have like the right supports. Having the right supports makes all the difference in the world. Like that's why I can smile and laugh. You know?
And I want to highlight that you're almost 50 and you're just getting to a place where you're understanding your likes, your don't likes, your boundaries, and your
Hmm.
standards.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because people always talk about stuff. It's too late for me to change. It's too late for this. I can't do that. You
Never
can.
feel it.
You can learn to love and value yourself at any age. It's up
Hmm.
to you to have the willingness and the work ethic to do it.
Yeah.
And to not allow people who you think are close to you, like your brother, your mother, your family, your father, to bully you into not setting your own boundaries.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
Bec-
and it also my healing all started with the therapy, but also I started taking a body positivity course that I wound up doing like 10 rounds of, and I wound up being a mentor. And it was like specifically for like larger size people to
Mhm.
be comfortable in their skin. And like it took getting comfortable with myself and getting
Yes.
in touch with my body for me to start saying, okay, I love myself and I deserve better and I'm worth putting the work into. And like it's possible to be happy. It's possible to have pleasure and love and safety and
Mhm.
like yeah, because for the longest time, like I said, I was like living in a plank where like just one day was bleeding into the next and
Yeah.
I wasn't dealing with shit. And I was content with not dealing with shit because it's hard. And at that time, I didn't have the right supports.
Yeah. Man, oh man.
Mhm.
Max, yeah, first of all, hey, y'all okay over there? Because
Yeah.
Max, I I needed a better warning for this episode. Good Lord, child. Oh my goodness. I just want to say you are a phenomenal human being
Thank you.
because people would not know with what they're seeing on the outside what you've a full 45 strong 45 years of your life,
Mhm.
give or take the 10 where you was like bump everybody in the world. I'm just gonna try to do
Mhm.
this. You've been in like experiencing some kind of abuse from people who are supposed to protect you, love you, or just treat you
Yeah.
like a human being.
Mhm.
And here you are knocking on the second half of your life.
Hopefully.
That's gonna second half of your life that's gonna be filled with fullness of life, fullness
Hmm.
of what love is, what
Absolutely.
joy is, what peace is, what healing is. I just want to say phenomenal because I don't even like to be able to survive to get to a place where you can get therapy to unpack all of that stuff that was shoved down your throat is it speaks volumes. It
Mhm.
speaks volumes. You've been through everything and then your body attacks you.
Yeah.
And I'm just it's honestly a blessing to have this moment with you in time.
Mhm.
It's a privilege to be able to share this time with you, but also show others like so much can be learned through this one conversation.
Mhm.
Red
Yeah. And
flags around family.
hmm I
Oh,
love your philosophy. I love your viewpoint. I love your message. Um, I was drawn to your energy, and that's why I was like so quick to say like, yes, I do want to take part in this because I had seen the episode with Maggie, but then I went back and I started watching some of the other episodes, and I just love the. I get a lot out of hearing other people's stories because I feel less alone.
mhm.
Um, and like with my particular story, like there's a lot to it, and there's a lot of different aspects of like why I haven't been open about my life. And like I finally have a voice now. And there are some people that they're never gonna have a voice, but if they can see themselves in somebody else and they can see that person like not only surviving but thriving, like
Yes.
it gives them the power to go on sometimes. Like I know it does for me. Like and then also like watching like some of the episodes, like I'll see someone's like perspective on something. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And like I apply
Hmm.
it towards like my own life and like it's helping me to see things like from a new angle sometimes. And it's
Yes.
really helpful.
It makes me so happy. Like this is doing what it's supposed to do. And it makes me
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
happy to hear that.
And I'm happy to be a part of it.
Oh
Like
my God.
I'm privileged to be a part of it.
It's our honor. It is our honor to have, because you have chosen to be transparent and honest about things that you have not shared for decades. To put yourself down so that someone else can have the hope that they need, the light that they need to see. And your voice is for a specific group of people that otherwise wouldn't get that light in the darkness that they're in or are going to be in or have been in. And so it's like, thank you for agreeing. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being like, you know what, God darn it, the time is now, and I am that one. Thank you so much. Whew, y'all all right? Because that baby,
It was a
I
lot,
was
but
not prepared.
yeah, I feel good though.
But you feel good and
Yeah,
freer, right? You feel
I
lighter.
feel
You feel,
lighter. I feel lighter because honestly, like a lot of like my story, like I've been told my whole life to just like sweep it under the rug, or like I've been made to feel like I can't come to people with big stuff because they don't know how to handle it. So it's
mm-hmm,
just easier for me to handle it on my own.
mm-hmm.
But that's not true. That's not true. I just needed to find the right person who was receptive to what I was saying, and that could help me appropriately.
Yes. And like people too need to understand, like, this is not a therapy session. This is not therapy. I'm not a therapist. You got one of those. But it's
Yeah.
different to be able to just sit down and have a conversation and know that the person on the other end has the capacity to receive whatever weight is dropped. Like that's different.
Yeah, because
And
like
we are,
one of the biggest things that I crave is like for someone to just be like, "Oh crap, that really sucked that that happened to you, and I'm sorry."
mhm, we need that connection.
Mhm.
And this is why we do it, to show people that you're not alone in whatever avenue, however it looked, whatever it was. You're not the only person that has been through this.
Mhm.
So, Max, child, baby, I'm just like, it's just, I can't say it enough. You are phenomenal. You are phenomenal, 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 phenomenal. You are phenomenal. Thank you for being you. Thank you for choosing to be you through all of what you've experienced. You made the choice. You made the choice to stay through the depression, through the suicidal thoughts, through the abuse, through the all of the crap we just talked about, and more that I know you can't even, like, we ain't even, everything can be said today. But you was like, you know what, I'm still gonna be Max,
Mhm.
and this is what the world is gonna get. So that right there is confidence. That's courage. That's strength. That's the phenomenal being that you are. I said what I said. I can say it again. I keep saying it because this is just how I feel after this conversation. Like, doggone, Max is phenomenal. Y'all don't understand. Scream it to the rooftops. But thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Continue to show up. Continue to share love. Continue to shine your light. This, my friends, has been another amazing episode of The Can't Be Broken. Baby, if you thought This right here is an example of what can't be broken. The
Living proof.
living, breathing being of can't be broken is right here. So, y'all, thank you for hanging in there. I hope this reaches everyone it's supposed to reach, and it helps start or continue on the healing journey for those it needs to help. In the meantime, in between time, y'all know what it is. Give it up for Max. That sounds like a turkey, not an applause. I need to get a soundboard. But anyways, we are gone. Pew, 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 pew.